Welcome to Audit Archive, where we run you through some of the most questionable and rather atrocious police encounters. Today, we're looking at a few incidents where police officers wrongfully arrest innocent citizens by violating their rights and unlawfully imposing authority over them. Starting with our first encounter, we have an officer who was called to an address by a teenager who claimed that his mother was kicking him out of her house. Once Officer Casey Barnum of the Greeley Police Department arrived on the scene, he made contact with the mother, namely Roseanne Perez, who claimed that she had just arrived home and was indeed not allowing her 16-year-old son to enter her residence since he had an active warrant against him for his arrest. Ms. Perez also told Officer Barnum that her son often got into trouble with the law and could be violent, even around her other two small children. As evidence, she showed Officer Barnum the damage her son had recently caused to the front door during efforts to break into the apartment.
Hello. Hi. So we're getting a call from your son saying you guys are kicking him out.
I actually just got home. He has a warrant out for his arrest.
Right.
Out
for possibly not doing court or something.
Yep, that's right. Yep, that is right.
And he's calling us saying you're kicking him out of the house.
I just got home from court, like literally just walked in the house. It's been my sister, and he actually hasn't been allowed in my house because he did this the last time, and I had to do a well check because I was at work. So I did tell her not to open the door if he came back, if I'm not here.
You can't do that.
Okay, well either way, he has warrant out for his arrest, so you guys can deal with it. Okay?
At this point, Ms. Perez tried to end the conversation with Officer Barnum by trying to shut the door after explaining the entire situation to him. However, Officer Barnum kicked the door open and crossed the threshold of the apartment without a warrant or consent. Despite this, Ms. Perez eventually decided to step out and speak with him. During their conversation outside the apartment, Ms. Perez made it clear that she would not allow her son to enter her residence until he sorted out the warrant for his arrest, which was due to the failure to appear in court.
Here, I'm gonna come outside.
He's not coming going to flat for that.
Okay. It's not a warrant for that. It was a warrant today because he failed to show up for court. So let me explain to you, officer, what's been going on, okay? So first off, he's kicked my door down before.
Okay.
The whole entire thing. The other day I was at work, and I can't leave work to come and see what's going on. I have small baby children here.
Okay.
And he did this to my door while I was gone. While I was gone, not while I was here. So I did a well check. No, please hear me out first, because I know exactly where you're going with this. Okay? So I asked him on his birthday, which was Tuesday, to get his butt home.
Okay.
He failed to come home. I don't know if he told you that or not, but he failed to come home.
Okay.
Okay, so he went to my sister-in-law's house and has been there since.
Okay.
And I told him, if you're not here by Friday morning in order to go to court, Trey, I'm going to court on my own.
Okay.
Which I did this morning. I went to court on my own.
Okay.
Okay? So he has a warrant out for his arrest out of Adams County right now for failure to appear. And the judge specifically told me, I told her everything that happened, as I'm telling you.
Okay.
And am I kicking him out now? Yeah, he has a warrant out for his arrest. He's not welcome in my home until he gets that taken care of.
Now it's to be noted that Ms. Perez certainly had her reasons to keep her son out of her residence. It can be assumed that his alleged violent nature, along with his run-ins with the law, led to Ms. Perez deeming it unsuitable for him to be staying at her apartment, especially since she had two young children with her also. Then, Officer Barnum claimed that Ms. Perez was not allowed to kick her son out like that, adding that her son had every right to act violently and break the door down since he essentially lived there.
Okay.
Okay.
You can't do that.
Yes, I can. He's a fugitive. Yes, I can.
You can call. Listen.
Yes, I
listen.
can. What?
I listen to you.
Okay, what?
You can call us if he comes, but you cannot say you can't come in. And if you lock him out, he can kick your door to get in because he lives here.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you something. He may not kick my door.
Okay.
Okay?
If you lock him out, he can.
Okay, I didn't lock him out. My sister did. If he is being a havoc, well, my sister is here babysitting my children.
Okay.
He is not welcome
Then
here.
she needs to call us. You can't kick
Oh,
him
we
out.
did call you. We did call. We did a well check. The officer came and you can check that.
Okay.
The officer came and did that. He hasn't been home since until today.
Okay.
Today he was locked out again, and the reason that he was locked out was because I wasn't home. When I'm home, then he can come.
That's not how this works.
Officer Barnum's ridiculous claims were far from accurate, both logically and judicially. As Ms. Perez stated, her son was basically a fugitive at that point, since he failed to appear in court and had an active warrant for his arrest. Note that when a subject, regardless of their relationship with the fugitive, provides assistance to them, it becomes illegal and falls under the charge of harboring a fugitive. Therefore, Ms. Perez decided to disengage with Officer Barnum once again by stepping back inside her apartment. However, Officer Barnum decided to unlawfully trespass once again by entering the apartment and keeping the door open. Then, in response, Ms. Perez rightfully retaliated against Officer Barnum's illegal actions, but was promptly restrained and placed in handcuffs. Officer Barnum claimed that Ms. Perez was under arrest for shoving him.
That's so sad.
No, that's not how, ma'am. Listen, that is
You
not how.
need to leave out of my house.
Stop.
I am. You do not have any permission to go into my
Stop.
house. I'm under arrest.
Stop.
for-
You're under. Because you just shoved me.
I did not shove you. I told you
It's
to
on
get out
video.
of my house. I told you to get.
It's on video.
You have no right to come into my home.
It's on video.
Pulling my hair. You have no right to come into my home.
Shoved me.
What did I shove you for?
Did I just tell you?
What
It's all
did
on
I shove
camera.
you for? What did I shove you for?
We can talk about
What
it before.
did I
It's all on camera.
What did I shove you for?
Do you have any weapons on you?
What did I shove you for? I work for Weld County government.
Okay.
Do you think I have weapons on me?
Okay.
Get off of me now.
Come on.
Sir, I'm not under arrest.
Yes, you are.
For what?
I just told you shoved me. Come on. Come
I'm
on.
not going to tell you then. Let me go. This
You're
is a
under
violation of my rights. You went
not.
into my
You're under
house.
arrest. Come on.
You went into my home. You went into my home without being welcomed into my
on.
home. You pushed my door open. Well, I was trying to go into my home.
Come on.
You can't. You literally opened up my door.
No, I prevented you from shutting your door, and then you shoved me.
Okay.
After this, Officer Barnum placed Ms. Perez inside his patrol vehicle for around 40 minutes before finally releasing her. As expected, Ms. Perez filed a lawsuit, which was eventually settled for $200,000, and Officer Barnum was fired from the department as a result. Next up, we have an outrageous encounter where an officer decided to harass a man by claiming that he was breaking into cars when he was clearly just fidgeting around his personal vehicle. Watch the initial moments from the officer's body cam footage as she approached him in an aggressive demeanor and immediately assumed that he was certainly the car thief she was after.
Hey, what are you doing? Is that yours? Okay.
Is there an issue?
Well, somebody called in that you're breaking into the car, so that's why.
It's my car.
Okay.
I mean, it says L&M Computer Solutions on the back of it. So,
Okay.
yeah, I mean,
Do you have your ID on you by chance?
it's in the car.
It's in the car? Okay.
You know?
Well, I need to make sure that you're not breaking into a car, that's all.
Don't run up on me like that.
You need to relax, bud.
It becomes clear right off the bat that the man certainly owned the vehicle, as he literally just pulled out his ID from the trunk, which he unlocked using his keys. This should have been more than enough evidence for the officer to leave the man alone and conclude her ridiculous investigation. But for some reason, she then claimed that he was being detained, as she still didn't know whether the man owned the vehicle or not. This simply goes to show that the officer was abusing her authority and violating the innocent man's rights.
Unit 44. Stay over here, please.
I'm one of just getting in my car.
Stay right here.
For what? Am I being detained?
Stay right here.
Am I being detained?
Yes.
For what?
For right now, I don't know if you're breaking into a car.
Exactly.
Stand right there.
That's suspicion. That's
Stop. Stop. Seriously,
Oh,
you want to
you
play?
really need to go here?
Stop.
Because you're violating my rights now.
Okay, well then you can relax until I can determine
You're
that.
violating my rights. You really want to do this? 'Cause I need your badge number. I need your badge number.
You can get our names and everything also.
Right. Because I can definitely make a complaint about this.
That's fine. Absolutely, you can.
As if this encounter wasn't unlawful enough, the officer also placed the man in handcuffs for seemingly no reason at all. He had committed absolutely no crimes and was certainly not under suspicion of breaking into cars anymore. The officer continued to question the man in an unnecessary attempt to figure out whether the vehicle was actually owned by him. Despite there being more than enough evidence already, the man continued to provide more evidence that would prove it was indeed his vehicle. This of course made no difference, and the officer then engaged in a disgusting conversation with the man as she tried to impose her authority over him while on a crazy power trip.
Let me ask you, can those keys get you into the...
No, it doesn't work.
Okay. The
That's
door...
why I'm trying to get in this way.
Okay.
It'll start the car and do everything like that, but it doesn't do the doors.
It doesn't do the doors. Okay. All right. As soon as they can confirm this, I'm going to take you out.
If you look right there
Mhm.
on that keychain, it's got my dog tag right there.
Okay.
That's all of it in there.
Okay.
But like I said, now you did this, now you violated my rights. Now I'm going to have to do a civil suit against you.
Well, do whatever you need to do, bud.
All right.
But I guarantee you your cooperation would have gotten you a lot farther.
I did cooperate. I told you it was my car.
No.
Just because you tell us something doesn't mean people don't lie to us every single day.
Gabe, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. He's not going to understand. Because right now you're looking for a payday is what it is.
No, I'm not looking for a payday.
Absolutely.
You did it.
You're right, I did.
You made my payday for me.
Okay,
Thank you.
buddy. That's fine.
You're a sergeant too.
You're right, I
Where's
am.
your supervisor? Let me have your supervisor over here.
In a second.
No, let me have your supervisor.
You can chill out is
Now
what you
you're
can
not
do.
giving me your supervisor when I asked you?
Absolutely not.
You're not?
You are not my boss.
Really?
Get that right.
Who pays you?
The sheriff does.
Who pays the sheriff? The taxpayer.
And who am I? A
You're a
taxpayer.
taxpayer, so you're my
Absolutely.
boss.
So I guess I'm a boss to you there, bud. So we're not going to have that conversation.
Public servant.
After continuously accusing him of breaking into a car, she was finally told that he was not the man they were looking for. Therefore, he was uncuffed, but apparently that wasn't enough drama for the officer. So she continued to harass him even after the investigation was over by standing by the vehicle and watching him.
Because I don't know you.
I don't know what
You're right. I'm not breaking into a car.
I'm not breaking into a car.
Okay, was that considered?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you take him out of handcuffs, please?
Yep.
Mr. Is it Porus?
It's Elizaldo.
Oh, I apologize. Porus is your middle name.
Exactly. I'm not one of your best ones running around here.
Who said that?
Well, I mean, just,
Who said that?
I
Stop.
can see-
Just stop.
I can see
Stop.
how you see.
Stop.
Because you rolled 3 feet.
So vehicle burglary? Absolutely.
Stealing a
Yeah.
1998 Toyota Camry.
How much longer are you going to be here?
Until I get in.
Okay.
Then this year. I mean, it's a public park. Park doesn't
I'm
close
just,
down
I
until
asked a
then.
question. Do you want to be that argumentative with me?
I'm just trying to point it out. You're getting argumentative with me.
I asked you a question. Maybe I was going to offer you some help, sir.
No.
But you don't need my help.
I
You got it.
did. I'm almost got it.
Okay. All right, we can stand by with you.
For what purpose?
Because it's a public park. Do you want to go tonight? You can. Thank you.
Moving on, we have a tyrant disguised as an officer who had an issue with an innocent man standing on public property and recording his surroundings. This First Amendment auditor was essentially testing to see whether his rights would be violated or not. Watches the officer approaches him and immediately starts demanding ID for no lawful reason.
What's going on, bud?
Not much.
You all right?
Yeah, just taking pictures.
What's going on? You taking pictures for your just personal use, or
Yeah.
well, where do you live at? Hey man, I'm just asking, man. We normally don't have people taking pictures.
No, I'm just taking pictures of the scenery, that's all. I mean,
Got
nothing.
an ID on you, man?
I do.
Can I see that, please?
Why?
Because you're on private property.
It's public. It's a police station.
Okay. I just need to identify you, see who you are, man.
For a purpose.
To see who's taking pictures here.
Is that illegal?
It's not illegal, but you are here on our property.
It's public property.
We can ask you to leave. We can ask you to do stuff. We have that authority.
Okay. So can I free to go?
No, I need to identify you, like I said.
It's not illegal. I mean, unless you're accusing me of a crime, then I will give you my ID.
Here's the thing. People do bad things to police department. I know you record. That's cool. I don't have a problem with that.
No, that's fine. No problem.
Okay? However, when we see people taking pictures of stuff that they don't normally do, we're just going to identify you, see who you are, and then you're free to go.
As seen in the footage, the officer made things up in an attempt to violate the man's rights. He claimed that the man was standing on private property and was legally obligated to identify himself. Both of these claims were obviously false. The parking lot was public property, and since the man was doing nothing illegal, he was certainly not obligated to provide any sort of identification either. Following this, the officer got scolded by the man as he clearly didn't properly know the laws. The officer ridiculously stated that he was worried that the building could blow up at any time, and since that may happen, he needed to identify the man beforehand, just in case. He also added that being suspicious was a crime, and that was why the man was being detained. In response, the man corrected the officer numerous times, which eventually led to the officer going on a power trip and placing the man in handcuffs, since he was quite literally embarrassed.
Well, I was taking pictures of the plants in front of the station.
That's cool, man. You have you have that right. Okay, you really do. However, I need to identify, see who you are, in case something does happen, the building blows up, or whatever the case may be.
Like I said, if I'm not committed of a crime, if I'm not committing a crime, then I don't see any reason for showing you ID.
You can either show me an ID, or I'll place you in cuffs, or fail to identify.
Failure to identify?
Yeah.
Do you know what failure to identify is?
I do.
I have to be detained first.
Okay.
I have to be lawfully detained first before.
You are being lawfully detained.
What crime am I committing to be detained?
You're committing suspicious activity.
Is being suspicious a crime?
Do it fair. Try this man in your back.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
Not resisting.
No one said you are.
Just saying.
Searches. You do realize this is not normal behavior, right?
At this point, the man was unlawfully detained and placed in handcuffs, which meant that his rights were actively being violated. Despite this, the officer decided to make matters far worse by illegally searching the man, even though he refused to give any consent.
I don't agree to searches. I don't agree to searches. Come on, man.
Relax, man.
I don't agree to searches.
Relax, dude. Relax.
You violated my civil rights.
Nobody's violating your civil rights.
Are you familiar with Title 18?
You know what? You need to relax.
Nope. I'm just making sure. Are you familiar with it?
They want spot. You start with civil rights.
Are you familiar with it?
Bridge feet, man. Just make sure you got no weapons on you.
As expected, the man was soon uncuffed and allowed to leave, but that didn't mean his rights weren't violated. The officer was simply imposing his authority over the man just so he could prove that he was above the law and could do whatever he wanted, regardless of what the law stated.
You got 3 police officers over here, SUV here, officer there, all for filming the Round Rock police station. But I'll just go ahead and tell you guys, I'm actually go around and I do this to other police departments. It's called a First Amendment test, and I'm pretty sure you guys already know. So I'm just letting you guys know. Obviously you weren't aware enough.
Be sure to check out our previous video, where we run through many other outrageous cases.